Right, hello everybody, welcome back to The Golden Sky. Once again, yet another video this week. I'm Tom, as always, thank you very much for joining me today. It is Friday the 19th of September. We have made it to the end of another week. The football is nearly back. We had Champions League in the midweek, but the Premier League is nearly back upon us. And today in the video, we're going to preview the first game of the weekend, which is Liverpool's game, the Merseyside derby against the Happy Blues, as we might refer to them a few times in this video. Good vibes going on at Everton, isn't it? A bit too many happy vibes going on at the Ev over there. They're very happy at the minute, very smiley, everything's sunshine and rainbows. So today we're going to preview that game. I've got the red top on, of course. Be it Merseyside derby weekend, had to put the red t-shirt on. And as always, the red background to rep for the red side of Merseyside. But before we get into the preview, guys, a bit of housekeeping as always. If you're here on YouTube, please do drop a like on the video and comment away. Drop your score predictions down below. I would love to see what you all think the score is going to be in this one. And as well as that, guys, we're trying to hit 200 subscribers here, which is crazy. But to do that, you first need to hit 150. So if we can help me get to 150 subscribers by clicking subscribe on the video, that would be amazing. And as always, if you're listening on the podcast, thank you very, very much for tuning in there as well. 5-star ratings and reviews, you know the drill by now. So everything that's needed to be said at the start of the video is said. How's our week's been? Have we had a good one? I hope you've all got through the working week, no problem. And now it's time to talk about some footy. So here we go. Let's do the predicted 11 for Liverpool. I've been pretty good at these so far this season. I think I've not got less than 10 players wrong in any game so far. So let's see if I can keep that going. And in this one, I am going to go with Alisson in the goal, of course. And then this is where things immediately get tricky. I predict Frimpong is going to start at right back. In this one, and then I think Kanate and Van Dijk will play centre backs. Obviously, I think Kirkes will come back in at left back, and then in the middle, I think he goes Gravenberch. Well, he's definitely going to go Gravenberch. He loves Gravenberch so much. I reckon he has posters of him on his wall. On a slot does. And then I'm going to go Szoboszlai next to him. You can't drop Szoboszlai. It's just a case of whether he plays right back or centre mid. I think he plays centre mid here, and then Florian Wirtz, Mo Salah. And I think Hugo Ekitike will start with Cody Gakpo on the left wing. That is what I think the team will be. So, questions about that and general thoughts about Liverpool. Let's have a little chat about Liverpool so far this season, what we've seen, and the team I just predicted. So, obviously, the big talking point, once again, as it's been for a few weeks now since we signed him. Isak, will he start? Will he come off the bench? I predict he will come off the bench. So, played 55 minutes against Atletico Madrid, and Slot in his press conference was asked today. First question he was asked, how fit is Isak? Will he play? So, whoever asked that, good work. You're doing everybody's work for them there as a journo, asking the important questions. Thank you very much. And Slot said he thought Isak, handled it well. Like he said that earlier in the week. He also said that he's not going to give out his team on a Friday before the game, which is great. I love Slot's pressers. He just puts all these journos in the place. So he didn't obviously give anything away, but he did say Isak told him that he even though he got through the game well, he felt his body more than maybe he ever has. And I think what he meant by that is he felt the intensity of playing for Liverpool, having to run around after not playing for 3-4 months. He felt the intensity, and they had a recovery day yesterday, and I think he needed that recovery day is kind of the message that Slot was getting across. And I was already leaning towards Ekitike anyway, and I think that just hammered the nail in there that I think Ekitike will start and Isak will come off the bench. I think he gets probably half an hour, to be honest. But it's a terrifying prospect, isn't it, for the Ev that they can face Hugo Ekitike for 60 minutes. You can go flat out. And then you look over on the touchline and you see that Swedish beast on the wing, on the touchline, warming up, ready to come on. The killer, the Swedish killer, to come on for half an hour when you may be a bit tired. Imagine it's 0-0, we're drawing, we have to get a goal. We bring on Alexander Isak. It's not bad, is it, to have that as an option? you'd be shitting your kecks if you were an Everton fan in that situation. So I think that's what will happen. He had a great debut against Atletico Madrid, didn't he? I mean, I talked about it in the ratings, talked about it in the tactics video. If you haven't seen them, go and watch them. Published those yesterday and the day before yesterday. Lots of videos this week, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. His debut was really impressive. I mean, he seemed to, grow into the game as it went on. He was getting more chances, and I think that's going to come with sharpness. But he surprised me. And I think he surprised Slot with how sharp he looked. So I think if we manage to get half an hour of Alexander Isak looking as sharp as possible in this derby, it can only be a good thing for us. So yes, I'm very much looking forward to watching him in his first Premier League game at Anfield. Oh, it's still wild to think that he's going to be there playing for us. So that's one talking point. Another talking point then is basically, where does Szoboszlai play, and where does that leave Frimpong or McAllister? So I think only two of those three players will play this game, or will start in this game. Now, one of them is going to be Szoboszlai. So, are you playing Frimpong or are you playing McAllister? And by account of that, are you playing Szoboszlai in centre mid or right back? That's the dilemma. It's a good dilemma. Slot did say our whole squad is fit, which is boss. I mean, our bench is going to look brilliant for the first time in a long time. We're going to have lots of options on there. We're going to have Chiesa, we're going to have Rio, we're going to have probably Isak or Ekitike. We're going to have Curtis Jones might make the bench. It seemed like he was fit. We'll have one of Frimpong or McAllister. We'll have Connor Bradley. We'll have Robbo. It's wild. The Galacticos are well and truly here, everybody. And that's just the bench. But if Szoboszlai plays in the middle, I think Frimpong starts at right back, which is what I think will happen. And if he starts at right back, McAllister will play. The reason why I think Maka will be on the bench and Frimpong will start is that, first of all, that was what we did in midweek, and Slot likes rhythm. He definitely prioritises rhythm over rotation. We saw that last year. So I think he will go with that. Frimpong was brought off after about an hour as well. I think that was with definitely one eye on the weekend. Frimpong does seem to be first choice over Bradley at this moment in time. So I think he gets the nod over Bradley. And then McAllister's just a little out of form, a little tiny bit. Had a bit of a slower pre-season, and then he's been coming off the bench, that kind of thing. I mean, he's been crucial to us for 2 years, basically, McAllister. But yes, I do think he's been slightly out of form. Szoboszlai and Gravenberch in the middle against Atletico were unbelievable. And I want to talk a little bit about the Atletico game, which I will do later, a little bit more. But before I do that, I just want to say Frimpong, for me, will start at right back because we'll want Szoboszlai to dominate that middle with Gravenberch. And I think we can do that with those two in there. I think we can do it with McAllister in there as well. But I just think the physical nature that Everton will want it to be. I think though Szoboszlai and Gravenberch will just destroy everything in there. And then Frimpong at right back. Now, obviously, Everton have Grealish on the left wing. We'll talk lots about Grealish later when we get to Everton and talk about their point of view. But Frimpong is so fast. That's where Grealish has difficulty with his pace. I think if we use Frimpong to be able to, just be nippy, basically, just be fast and deal with him, Grealish is not going to be able to leg him down the line. Maybe he can just nip at his heels, nick the ball here and there, be a pest to Grealish. I think that will be a good factor for us in dealing with Grealish, but we'll talk about Grealish a lot more later on. This is the Liverpool portion, so I don't want to go on too much about him. So let's talk about the Atletico Madrid game. And just generally Liverpool's start of the season so far. So we've played 5 games, and by my count, we've won all 5 games. So tell me why the media seem to be continuing to portray Liverpool as this spluttering, stuttering, stalling side that isn't hitting top form. I mean, they're right in a sense. We haven't hit top form, but as far as I checked, we're the only side in England in the Premier League to have won all of their games so far this season. Everyone's favourite team, Arsenal, we beat those. Scored the only goal that they've conceded so far against them to beat them. Everyone likes to say in the media at the minute, "Oh yeah, but it was a freak free kick. It was a brilliant free kick," and I love shit like that. I really love it because at the end of the season, if we've won more games than Arsenal, it doesn't matter how many of them we won by shit free kicks. We'll be ahead of them in the table, and that's what matters at the end of the day. Um, we've beat Bournemouth, who look fantastic. They're not getting enough credit. They look fantastic. We beat Newcastle in one of the most hostile environments ever in Premier League history, I would say. We beat them. They go down to 10 men. That's what everyone says. Oh, well, went down to 10 men. That was their own fault. It's not Liverpool's fault. We beat them. Play Arsenal, beat them. Play Burnley, who basically decided they just weren't going to attack. Beat them. Okay? Then we play Atletico Madrid. Guess what? Beat them. They're a really good side. Yes, they've had a weak start. They've got loads of good players. They play really experienced, rigid football. Great manager. Beat them. Should have smashed them as well. And this is what I want to talk about. That game was our most impressive game of the season. I think we absolutely dominated Atletico Madrid. Our XG was like super high and our XG conceded was super low. The game was not a 3-2 game if you play it 10 times over. You know, how many chances did we have to score more goals? I mean, you think of like versus ones where he set Salah up, he set Frimpong up. You think of Ekatike's at the end. You think of ones that you don't even remember, like when Van Dijk headed it over and Salah volleyed it, like he should score. And another day we win that one 5-0, but you know they get a few deflected goals with questionable offside decisions in there as well, and all of a sudden it's 3-2, and the narrative is Liverpool keep throwing away 2-0 leads, which factually is true. We do keep throwing away 2-0 leads, and that could be, you know, perceived as a concern. Like, obviously, I don't want to be throwing away 2-0 leads, guys, in every game. I don't want to do that, but I think the circumstances of all of them were, you've got to look at it. First of all, the media has already forgotten, and it's not obviously going to be talked about all the time. It just isn't. But the media has already forgotten that Liverpool, at the start of this season, are dealing with the passing of Diogo Jota. So that first game against Bournemouth, the first game of the Premier League season, you know, the emotion going into that game, to have the ability to play at a top level is difficult, regardless of who you are, how good you are as a footballer. We don't have Ryan Gravenberch, who's our best midfielder, really. I mean, Szoboszlai's been unbelievable, but he's probably our best midfielder overall day to day, and he's certainly our best midfielder at stopping counter-attacks, which we didn't have, and we conceded 2 counter-attacks. So there's that element. Newcastle, the second half was one of the most ridiculous halves of football I've ever seen. It was just long throw in after corner, after long throw in, after corner, after long free kick, after long free kick, until they scored, basically. So 2 set piece goals, like, basically, we didn't defend it great, sure, but it's different to the Bournemouth game. And then the Atletico game, like I just mentioned, they scored 2 deflections, well, the second one especially, a freak goal, a volley that it's a great hit, but it's not usually going to go in. And also questionable offsides for both goals. On another day, they might get ruled out. So we're giving away the leads in different circumstances. I just don't think that's something that you can really say, oh, well, this is a massive criticism of Liverpool. We still won the games, of course, and if you don't, then yeah, of course, it's a criticism. And we've won 5 games out of 5 in late fashion. Now, people have also been saying, obviously, and this is a lot of rival fans will say, this is unsustainable. Liverpool can't sustain this. Everyone likes to talk about sustain. It's like a buzzword in football now. Can they sustain it? Can they sustain this? Well, what counts as sustaining? Because we've done it 5 games in a row. That seems pretty much like we've sustained it so far, to me. Like, people said after the first game, oh, they can't keep this up. They said after the second game, they can't keep this up, they can't sustain it. Well, we're 5 games in now, we've done it every game, so why can't we sustain it? Liverpool are not going to win every game in the last minute of the game, that's for sure. And hopefully we don't win this one in the last minute of the game. But if we do, why can't we? Why can't we do it? We can. We've seen it 5 times in a row already this season. This is the spirit and the mentality and the fitness of the players that allows them to do it. And that's Everton's problem. That's not Liverpool's problem. It's not a problem for Liverpool if they win games in the last minute of the game. And don't let people tell you it is, guys. Don't listen to that. There's so much nonsense that you need to filter out about Liverpool and about football in general, and I am trying my best to not put any nonsense in to my videos. So I hope that you can take that on board, and hopefully you already were taking that on board. But yes, so generally I would say that we've actually been building up. I would say Bournemouth we were okay. We were okay, attacking wise, good, defensively bad, straight up bad. Newcastle, gutsy performance, really good performance, given the circumstances. Get away with it a little bit, win the game. Okay, Arsenal, I think we played like fine. I mean, Arsenal were similar to Burnley. They didn't try and attack really very much, but we matched them. We weren't scintillating, but we matched them. Definitely then got the winner. Burnley, we were good. We just couldn't score because they had 11 players in their box, and it was impossible to see where Burnley's striker was because he just blended in with all their other defenders. And then Atletico was our best game of the season. So I would say we've sort of been on an incline like this in terms of performance level. So can we continue that going into this one against against Everton? Well, hopefully we can. I think why not? Salah seems to be warming up. Gravenberch's getting games under his belt now after missing the first one. Vert's definitely warming up, learning the team. We've got Isak now. Our squad's fully fit. Konate seems to have shook off those early season jitters that he had when he was behaving like a tranquilized rhino, like I said. We seem to be warming up, and that's crucial when you've got to play a Merseyside derby, because if you're not warm for this one, then you'll be caught cold. So with that said, let's talk about Everton a little bit. And like I said, the Ev are as happy as they've been in years, I would say, at the minute. Like, the fellas over there, on the blue side, rocking the Lonsdales. They're not throwing the Lonsdales at the TVs. They're not jumping out the window with steam coming out their ears and the cheeks bright red, raging because Liverpool have scored another last-minute goal. Well, they probably are a little bit. They're probably throwing the TV set out the windows, There's toffees bloody flying all over the gaff around the streets of Liverpool. People chucking toffees out the window. Fume central. Well, not quite, because Everton themselves have been doing pretty well. So they can put the Lonsdale, the Velcro them back up, and sit in front of the TV and enjoy it at the minute, because they're winning games. They've got the new stadium, things looking great. They at home for Everton. They've got Grealish, who's the talk of the town, got Player of the Month in the Premier League. Don't know, I feel like Szoboszlai personally should have won that, or Van Dijk even. We won all our games. Everton lost one of theirs. Grealish came off the bench and didn't even play it, but it is what it is. He got 4 assists. He played really well. So Everton's predicted lineup, let's get into that. I think it'll be Pickford in goal with O'Brien at right back. Tarkowski and Michael Keane will play centre back. I don't think Branthwaite is fit yet. And then the one change, I think, to the team they've kind of been playing is I think Mykolenko is fit enough to start. I did look at Moyes' presser. He didn't give much away. I think Mykolenko will start, and they will play Idrissa Gueye and James Garner in the middle two. And then they'll have the front four of Iliman and Jai on the right, with Kiernan Dewsbury Hall in the number 10, with Jack Grealish on the left, and Beto, I think, will start up front. I think they'll leave Barry on the bench. Barry and Beto, like the Chuckle brothers over there, aren't they? In fact, wasn't one of the Chuckle brothers actually called Barry? Barry Chuckle? What was the other one called? I bet you he wasn't called Beto, was he? Because if the other Chuckle brother was called Beto Chuckle, I mean, it's actually kind of good, Beto Chuckle. Beto and Barry Chuckle. That's what I'm now calling Everton the Strike Force, the Chuckle brothers. But there we go. I've gone off topic here. Yeah, I think that's the kind of standard template team Everton have been playing. Not much change, but the only thing I've done is just I predict Garner will move into the middle instead of Tim Iroegbunam. I think, well, Moyes loves Garner. He's been playing left back, but with Mykolenko fit, I think he'll come back in at left back with Garner going into the middle. So if you haven't been keeping track, Everton's results, they lost to Leeds 1-0 on the opening day, the mighty Leeds, and then they beat Brighton 2-0. So things are looking great, Hill Dickinson, loud and proud. First win, happy days. Then they go to Wolves, they win 3-2, and then they draw 0-0 with Villa last week. Villa, who haven't scored a goal yet in the Premier League, only team not to have done that. So, like I said, the feeling around Everton is great, and they're getting so much praise, and rightly so. Things looking good. I think they're sixth in the table. Like give them some credit. But I want to just look at those results, like in a bit more detail. So they lose to Leeds, obviously, bad result. Okay, then Grealish comes into the team. They beat Brighton 2-0. So on paper, it looks like a great win. But Brighton missed a penalty in this game. They hit the bar a couple of times. I watched the game. They could have scored plenty of goals, Brighton, in this game. So the 2-0, I think, flatters Everton a little bit, which is funny because, if it was Liverpool who'd won like that, I want to be saying, oh, they're so lucky. They're so lucky to come away with that win. There's loads of problems, blah, blah, blah. Everton win it, and everyone's like, I just love Everton so much. Aren't they doing so good? Oh, look at little Grealish, isn't he? He's so fun, and it's so nice to see him enjoying his football again. Oh, yay. But when we win a game, God forbid, it's like if we don't win 10-0, it's like we played bad. That's the difference. They're in the standards of the two clubs, I guess. They go to Wolves, they win 3-2, but Wolves are shite. Let's not get it twisted. They are rubbish. And they squeak out an away win. It's a good away win. Sure, but 3-2, Wolves not been very good. And then Villa, like I said, 0-0. So you look at the start of the season, for us, our 4 games versus they've played Leeds, Brighton, Wolves, and Villa. Villa's the best team there, you would say, and Villa not scored a goal yet. Brighton second best. They could have lost. They don't. They win. Okay, fair enough. Look at ours though. Bournemouth, Newcastle away, Arsenal, and then Burnley. So you say, well, Burnley's easy. Well, it is for most teams in the league, because Burnley might actually try and have an attack against some teams, not against us. Though into that, we've actually had Atletico Madrid in there. Everton's extra game was against Mansfield. This is what the difference is again. So I just want to put their start into context. Also, something I noticed when I did a bit of research. If I had to ask you on paper who most people would say has a better defence, Everton or Liverpool? Who's had a better defence to start this season? Who's been more solid? Most people, unless they were Liverpool fans, would probably say Everton, right? I think if you asked everyone's favourites, Neville and Carra, they'd say Everton. Well, I looked at this. Everton have given up the 7th most expected goals in the season in the Prem so far. Liverpool have given up the 3rd least. Only Arsenal and Newcastle have a better expected goals conceded than us. And then what that tells you is we've kept 2 clean sheets, so that's good stuff. But the 2 games we conceded the 2 goals, they're kind of freak goals that we've not been giving up lots of chances. They're just getting a couple of chances and scoring them. You could say that's a worry for Liverpool, but I just think we're getting a little bit unlucky at the minute. Everton, on the other hand, giving up quite a lot of expected goals. Yeah, you don't know that because everyone talks about them being this really solid defensive team, which they are, and they probably will be against us because I imagine Moyes will have them set up to play rigid football. But I just want to show that the perception isn't always what the numbers say. But now moving nicely on to some numbers, I want to show you Jack Grealish's stats to start this season because he's the danger, the biggest danger. And I want to just talk through because everybody is loving Grealish at the minute. So let's have a little look at Grealish's stats to start this season. Okay, so what I have in front of you here is a graph from Data MB, brilliant website for football stats. If you've never looked at it and you like this kind of thing, it's a good website. And I know it looks a bit mad, but I'll talk through it. So it's Grealish to start this season, and it shows his percentile for certain things that a winger might be measured on, and then it sort of puts it in a little chart so you can see where he ranks. Basically, you want to be at the end like this. This is where you want to be. This is sort of not good in the middle where you don't want to be, and you'll see that from this here. So obviously he's a winger, blah blah blah. This compares him to other wingers. So it shows his stats against other wingers. So progressive carries, 92nd percentile. We know Grealish is an excellent carrier of the ball. He likes to dribble the ball very slowly, and he sort of just nudges it forward, nudge it forward until he releases the pass. But he's very good at it, 92nd percentile. Not many people carry the ball further forward than Grealish. And you can back that up with the successful dribbles. He very rarely gets tackled, and if he does, it's usually a foul. At least this season, you see his dribbles here. Successful dribbles, he's right at the edge, 96th percentile, very, very good. Non-penalty goals, this is sort of misleading. He's 0th percentile, but that's because he hasn't scored a goal. If he'd scored a goal, this would be obviously somewhere around here, but we're early into the season, so this is kind of a bit of a misleading stat. But you can see his non-penalty expected goals and expected assists, 83rd percentile. So he's getting a lot of expected contributions, but they're mostly assist expected contributions. He's less of a goal threat these days, or at least for Everton. He's always been more of an assist threat, even when he was back at Villa, but definitely provider rather than a scorer in this Everton team. And you can back that up with the assists. I mean, he's got 4 assists so far this season, 99th percentile. We're going to look at some of those in a little minute. And then the key passes. So this is measuring not just if he gets an assist, but a pass that leads to a shot, a pass that leads to a chance, just generally key passes in a game, 98th percentile. He's making more than most players in the world at the minute, which is crazy for an Everton winger. You know, they're buzzing with him, and rightly so, because he's playing really, really well. It reminds me a little bit of how they were when they got James Rodriguez, and he was the bee's knees for a while when they had Ancelotti and all that fairy tale madness was going on at Everton. It wasn't until Ancelotti sort of woke up and had an epiphany of what the fucking hell am I doing at Everton? I need to go back to Real Madrid. That James Rodriguez said, what the fucking hell am I doing at Everton then? And he went to bloody, where did he go? Qatar or something like that? But yes, crosses, he doesn't cross it very much. This is an interesting little graph though, and what I thought was even more interesting was to compare him to Cody Gakpo. So here's another graph. Very similar in the way it works. This is the same graph for Grealish, but Gakpo now just added on top, and it compares their stats. So obviously, Grealish gets talked about loads. Gakpo doesn't really get talked about in our team. He's a bit of an unsung hero, really, of our team. We just have a lot of stars, and he's just not really flashy, but his work is so effective. He always reminds me of Iron Robben, Gakpo, like an inverted Iron Robben. But this sort of shows the difference between the two players. You see, Gakpo's goal threat is a lot higher. You know, he scored goals, basically, that is what this shows, and that's what Gakpo does. He scores, he gets on the end of things. He's much more of a goal threat than Grealish is. Grealish wants to pass the ball, and that's where you see Gakpo slightly lower in terms of his passing numbers than Grealish. But the goal threat is much higher. They don't really cross the ball all that much, either of them. Gakpo will do 1 or 2 crosses a game, and it's always the same type, the one to the back post. But the dribbling is pretty similar. I wanted to put this in, more just to highlight the differences of the players, but also just to give Gakpo a little nod, because Grealish is getting so much love, and fair enough, rightly so. But let's not forget, Jack Grealish is a £100 million player a few years ago. This is not some scrub that they've revived back from the dark streets of League Two football. This is a £100 million player who lost his way at Man City amongst other £100 million players because he didn't really look after himself all the time. Now, I like Grealish. I'm not knocking him. I think he's a really, really good guy and a good player. But let's talk realistically here. That said, though, I do want to have a little look at Grealish and some clips. So we'll do that later on. But for now, let's just go back and talk a little bit more about Everton and any thoughts that I have on them. So you've seen the graphs for Grealish. We're going to look at some clips of him a little bit later on. But just before we do that, I want to talk about some others in the Everton team. So Grealish has created the second most big chances in the Premier League so far, and also the most chances created in the Premier League with the most expected assists in the Premier League. So he is the central hub for all things creativity-wise in the Everton team. But someone has to be on the end of it, and that's where Beto and Iliman Ndiaye have really come into their own this season, especially Iliman Ndiaye. They have really, really good expected goal numbers. Beto is 7th in the league for expected goals with 1.8 expected goals so far, and Ndiaye 1.3, which is 5th amongst all wingers. To put that into a bit of context against us, our highest is Ekatike at 1.5 xg, but then we go all the way down to Salah at 1.1, and he's had a penalty, so that would be like 0.5 without the penalty. So Everton generating a lot of expected goals. How they do this is interesting because they have very, very low possession, 44%, the 16th lowest in the league. Although this year they are actually trying to play out from the back a little bit. They've done it, and they've done it well sometimes. They did it against Leeds. But whether they'll do that at Anfield, I don't think they will. I think they will resort to kicking the ball long and winning second balls. And we're going to look at that a little bit later as well. They don't pass the ball very much, 17th lowest accurate passes per game, so 4th worst. They don't really pass it all that much. But what they do is accurate long balls. 3rd in the league for accurate long balls so far, and this is their strength. Interestingly enough, United were number 1 for accurate long balls. Just thought I'd throw that in. This is Everton's strength, though. They are really good at knocking the ball long, and it usually goes to Beto or Barry, and they play off those. That's what they do. Pickford is a good distributor. And then, the centre-backs like to get involved as well. So I think the key battles with all of that sort of talked are going to be Salah against whoever plays left-back for Everton. Because if it's Mykolenko, he's just come back from injury. Can Salah give him a bit of a torrid time maybe on his return? Or if it's James Garner, he's a centre-mid playing left-back against Mo Salah. I'd like to see Salah dominate that matchup, whoever it is. And then you've got to look on the other side of the pitch. Same side, other end. Jack Grealish against whoever plays right back for us is going to be a key battle. It is going to be a key battle. I think Szoboszlai or Frimpong will be right back, and I think they have the quality and the running power to deal with Grealish, because I think that's how you sort of overpower him. It's just by being more athletic than him a lot of the time, because he's very technically good. But also, I think the middle of the park is really, really important in this game. I think it's a bit of a weakness for Everton. I look at Idrissa Gueye and James Garner in the middle, and I think of them against Gravenberch, Wirtz and Szoboszlai. I think if they don't clog up the space well enough, then we could have a really, really big advantage in that middle of the park. I just think we're stronger, cleverer. We're getting a little meaner, I would say, in there as well, which is great. But ultimately, I think we've sort of played the 3, versions of Everton in preparation for Everton. Funnily enough, what I mean by that is, okay, we play Burnley a couple of weeks ago. I mean, Burnley are bad, but they sit back and defend. So that's sort of your low tier Everton, right? Then you play Atletico Madrid. This is sort of your high tier Everton. They have lots and lots of good players, but also they want to sit back and defend and hit you on the counter attack and play long balls and be horrible and make it hard to play against them. They're your top tier Everton. So now we're going middle tier Everton, which is Everton. So let's see how it goes. But just very quickly, let's look at some clips of Grealish, and also Kieran Dewsbury-Hall. I want to give him a mention as well. This is going to be a danger for Liverpool, and I want to look at what Grealish has done so well so far this season. So let's go look at that. All right, so first clip that I'm going to show you all then, and that is Everton's win against Brighton. So this is something that I was talking about when I mentioned they like to play long balls. This isn't necessarily a long ball, it was a throw-in. But these strikers, whether this is Beto or Barry in this case, like to pin the centre-back and then bring others into play. Exactly what happens here. If this is Van Dijk, I'd like to see him try. Van Dijk playing as good as I've ever seen him play. So let's see Beto do this to Van Dijk. We'll see. But anyway, he brings Iliman into play. And I'm not going to spend too long on these guys, but Iliman moves the ball into the middle. And then it goes to this man here, Dewsbury-Hall. And this is where Everton can get you on the counter. As soon as the ball gets to Dewsbury-Hall, they want to get it to Grealish. He's the danger. He's in loads of space. And I imagine this is where we'll need Frimpong, because if they catch us like this, Frimpong can come back from wherever he was, absolutely meow it back to his position, back to deal with Grealish. Anyway, Grealish here gets one-on-one, and you can see he's isolated. This poor fella here, I can't tell who it is actually in the blur. One-on-one. He goes at him. Grealish likes to get right to the byline. That's something he just likes to do. He'll drag the ball as long as he can, and then he might often pass it back, but he draws the defence back this way. So then they end up here by the time he crosses it. That's what he does. He crosses it here. It goes to Iliman at the back post. He knocks it in the net. It's his first assist of the season. Second one, we see him again here. Everton love attacking down this left-hand side because of Jack Grealish now, and Iliman always gets himself in the box. He's not really in the team to be doing the things Grealish is doing. He's in there to finish things off. Grealish, again, one-on-one. This is where he likes to be, and he just waits. And if you watch what happens, Dewsbury-Hall makes this run over here, and Grealish just completely ignores him, right? but he waits, and now he's got what he wants because he's got these two players focused on him. And you see, again, the defence been pushed back, and it allows him to just bring others into play. It's very simple, but he does it very well. Gives it to Garner, and it's a great hit from Garner, to be fair. It's a great goal. The ball flies in this corner here. Brilliant strike. You know, they score, they win the game. Next one. Everton against Wolves now. Grealish, again, one-on-one. This is where he likes to be. Left-hand side. Look, Illiman. No concern with being on the right wing. He wants to be in the box or in the centre because he knows this ball is going to come in from Grealish. This is all Everton's tactic this season. Grealish, again, look what we've seen. 2 players on him, even 3 almost. Occupied with him. Look where Wolves' defence is. Pushed right back onto the penalty spot. And all he's going to do is bring others into play. So he does here. Dewsbury Hall. And this time, Grealish actually goes to the return. So Dewsbury Hall, really good pass again. He's going to get Grealish in. Wolves switch off completely. I mean, it's bad defending from Wolves. They just completely switch off. Grealish gets in. On another day, they score. But look at Everton in the box again. Beto here. Illiman here. They're in the box. They are waiting for Grealish to provide something for them. Next one. Again, Grealish, left wing, isolated in the box. This time he's received a pass to feet. It's quite tight. There's players around him, but he's ready to go one-on-one again. He makes a bit of space. He's drawn the defenders onto him, and he plays a lovely reverse ball to who? Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall gets the ball across. And what are we seeing that's similar in all of Everton's goals so far? They're all from the left-hand side of the pitch, and already we're seeing lots of cutbacks, balls across the face with the defence pushed right back. That's what happens here. Illiman again, right in the middle. And who's next to him? Beto. These two just want to be in the box to finish things off. And that's what he does here, Illiman. Next one. Grealish picks the ball up deep in this situation. First time we've seen him where he's not really that advanced. This is another goal for Everton. He's dangerous here too. He just dribbles, nice and slow. Look, he's attracted all these players again around him. Dewsbury Hall has just been able to ghost off the back and run into here. And this is where we'll need Ryan Gravenberch to stop this type of thing happening. Good ball from Grealish, chips it through. Dewsbury Hall, again, this is a great strike. He hits it from here sort of on the volley, goes right into this top corner. It's a brilliant goal. And Everton win this game as well, but it's all from the play of Grealish. So those are the clips that I wanted to show. Let's wrap up with Super 6 for today. Okay, Super 6 then, still not a millionaire unfortunately, but last week was my best week. I thought I'd show the results this time round. Actually got every single result correct. Not result, so, well, what do you call it? Result or... yeah, result I guess, not score. Newcastle win, Bournemouth was actually correct, and then Spurs win. This was a draw, Liverpool win, and City win. So we're doing okay. Let's try and win the £1 million. So what have we got this week? Okay, Brighton, Spurs. What do people think? Spurs. This is an interesting one, actually. Really interesting. 2-2 draws being predicted. Oh, I don't know. I kind of fancy Brighton, you know. I kind of fancy Brighton. I'm going to go with a 2-1 to Brighton. I don't know why. I just fancy them. United, Chelsea. This is the weird type of game that United win. It just is. This is a weird game that United just win. Do I really think they can win it, though? I'm going to go 1-1. I'm going to go 1-1. I'm going to go 1-1. United, they're just weird. Impossible to predict. Fulham, Brentford, oh god, this is just impossible. Fulham win for most people. Yeah, probably Fulham. Probably a Fulham win. What's a safe result? 2-1? I would have done a 2-1. I don't really like doing too many. I'll do 2-1. Fuck it. Villa Sunderland, right. Surely Villa score a goal. Surely they score a goal here. I think they'll win this one. I'm gonna go 2-0 to Villa. I think they finally get on track here. Bournemouth Newcastle, this is gonna be a belter, by the way. Really excited for this one. Newcastle coming off that Thursday game. Will they feel a bit of fatigue in the legs? I think so, and I love Bournemouth. Let's see what Kara said. 2-1. Very mixed, extremely mixed here. Let's go. Do I think there's goals or not? Both really good defensively, aren't they? So, I don't want to do another 2-1. Don't really want to do another 2-1, but that's what I'm feeling. that is what I'm feeling, guys. So I guess I do it. I might change one. I might change this. No, I'm sticking with it. And then Arsenal City. Now, I think we have a big effect on this game because if we lose, I think Arsenal go for it a lot more than if we win. I think if we win, they'll try and play for a draw. I think City win. I think City win 2-1. And then we'll just go 5th minute for the goal. Let's see how likely it thinks I am to win this week. Oh, not very. That might be the lowest I've been in terms of betting odds, but that's Super 6. Let's finish off with the outro. Alright guys, I hope you did enjoy today's video. That is going to be it for today. The preview of Liverpool v Everton, the Merseyside derby at 12:30 tomorrow. I think it will be a factor that the game's at 12:30, but I hope that Liverpool come out with the win. Remember to drop your score predictions in the comments section below, and also drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. Just click the subscribe button. It would be boss if you did so. Lots of videos this week, and we're going to continue tomorrow with match ratings. They will come out at some point on Saturday after the Liverpool game has been played, obviously. So until then, I hope you all have a good rest of your Friday and enjoy the game tomorrow. Hopefully Liverpool win. And until then, I'll speak to you for the ratings. All right, guys. Goodbye.